Good morning, Oxfit. What's up, team? Happy Monday. We're here. I'm gonna kind of give myself a little bit time to warm up. It's Monday morning. Dropped Murph off at camp this morning. Had a nice little breakfast, and now I'm here, podcasting with you guys. Second Monday in a row with you all. Savannah is honeymooning. I think she's back on Wednesday. She's back this week. From some much deserved time away to celebrate all the things in her life. So I'm here to keep the wheels rolling with you all. Good morning, Aunt. Um, I know Aunt's having a wonderful day because England won last night. They beat Mexico at Mexico, which was, if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. And then Team USA plays tonight. We got our star striker back on track. The red card that was a BS red card that was called against the game last week was reversed, which is like unheard of. So it's a big day. I know everyone's been super excited about watching the World Cup. I've been very excited about it. And on top of that, it was a holiday weekend. Here we celebrated the 4th of July. That was on Saturday. So I know a lot of us out there were probably barbecuing and we were, grilling out and chilling out and eating lots of hot dogs and hamburgers and lots of yummy things and just having a good time with hopefully good people. And caught some fireworks hopefully as well. And so I hope everyone enjoyed their holiday weekend and are ready to get back into it this week. It's a brand new week. It's a fresh start. And I'm hyped to have you here. I think this day kind of came in pretty hard and fast, like Mondays tend to do, especially after a holiday. And so I needed a little bit of extra time this morning to just kind of do like a little full reset. And I think some of us might need that too. So before we really get into all the motivational things, just do this with me. It might be weird, but whatever. Lean into it. So just take a big deep breath with me. And you're going to hold it for like 5 seconds. And then just let it out. Just let yourself be here. Let yourself come into the day, come into this podcast, and just get your week started on the right foot. Right? And honestly, like that's really something for this week is to be here and be present. Because it's the Monday after a holiday, and like I said, you probably spent the weekend grilling fireworks. You probably had a few drinks. You watched the World Cup. We stayed up late, and maybe you took some extra rest days because you were traveling and you went to the lake or to the beach somewhere, and we kind of got out of our routine, and that's okay, right? Like it's good to break our routines every once in a while. That's life. That's what holidays are for. That's what fellowship and family and friendship is for, right? And so those moments are going to come up and they always will. And despite that, though, here's what really matters the most. You're back. We're here and we're ready to get back to work, right? Especially here at the gym. And the fact that you're here puts you ahead of most, right? You decided to show up this week and you've been showing up for the last 2 weeks, right? So if you've been in the gym the last couple of weeks, it's been prep week, right? So Savannah sent out an awesome email yesterday kind of forecasting what this week is going to look like because next week is when baseline week starts, right? So this whole week, we are taking time to get familiar with things, to learn the new stimulus that's going to come with this upcoming cycle. And we're starting off this midpoint of the year with a good challenge, a strong challenge, because that's what we do here, right? This isn't us taking a vacation and then taking a whole week off and then taking the rest of July off and then saying, well, I'll get started in August. No, like we're here to get started today and to get started right now. And that's what I'm really here to talk about today, right? So let's talk about this week and why it matters more than you may think, right? Sometimes I think that we look at prep week sometimes, or like the weeks in between our cycles, and they can feel a little like anticlimactic, right? But Monday, July 14th is coming. That's day one of baseline week, and your readiness for that day starts today. And like I said, this whole week and all of last week is really about getting familiar with what we're doing in this upcoming cycle, right? The movements that we're going to introduce, the types of workouts that we're going to be doing. You're building your base, right? You've been building your base over these last 2 weeks of prep, greasing the grooves and getting your body ready, right? And so maybe at some point though, over these last 2 weeks, you're like, man, like, when does the real work start? Like, when are we like really getting into this? Like, when does this get like more challenging, right? And that time is coming, but the work that you are starting now to get ready for that begins today. And I don't want you to write off prep week. I don't want you to write off the movements that we're going through this week, because the people who show up and crush this next 8-week cycle are the people who show up and work hard over these past 2 weeks, starting today and all through last week too. They're the ones who used prep week wisely, who dialed in their movements, who came in with a feeling, who will come into baseline week with an idea of what's to come and not just guns ablazing, chaos abound, right? So you are really getting ready for some amazing work this week. And that's the mindset that I want you to have, right? That the people who show up and use prep week wisely, who've dialed it in, who've taken this Monday after a holiday to basically do like a factory reset, are the ones who are going to really find some success in the weeks and cycles to come forward, right? And that's the mindset that I want you to have this week. And as much as that mindset is something that's easy to talk about, right? It doesn't come without the external problems that can change your mindset, right? We live in a world where everything is instantly available, from gratification to food to, I mean, you can chat GPT the answers to anything on the planet, right? And because of that, we've been tricked into thinking that like results can be instantaneous too, right? You can hit the gym for 2 weeks and maybe you're wondering why you're not seeing all of the like gains and results that you want. Maybe you've been eating clean for 5 days and you step on the scale expecting some like huge, massive transformation, but it hasn't come yet. And when it doesn't happen, right, there's this like very loud voice in your head that tells you to quit. Like, oh, it's not working. Oh, like, let's try something new. And like, you try to like mentally convince yourself that it's not working and that there's another way that you need to try. And that maybe fitness or maybe eating clean or like eating better and like supportive for you, like, isn't for you, right? Especially after a holiday weekend, right? Like I said, you may have spent the weekend watching the World Cup and celebrating the 4th of July. And it's so easy to feel like you're starting over. Like all that progress that you may have made leading up to this past weekend just disappeared because you had some burgers and some beer and you took a couple of days off, right? But that's not how it works. You know, the people who win, the people who find success in their fitness, in their families, in their relationships with their friends, in their relationships with food, right? They're not doing anything crazy, right? They're just doing small things over and over and over and over again, right? Without quitting, right? And so the mindset that I really want you to have this week is this mindset around kind of compound interest, right? Compound interest is one of those things that it's normally like a financial piece or whatever, right? You invest a little bit of money, over time it grows, not because you made like one huge deposit, but because of like consistent contributions that build over time, right? And your fitness and your health work the same way, right? So when we look at compound interest and we're talking about prep week, right? Like, how does that show up? So that's the movement practices that we've been doing. If you were here, what was that, Monday or Tuesday last week, and we were doing forward lunges from the rack, right? Like, how do you prep for that? How do you kind of take down the weight, take down the ego, and just learn the movement inside of the time that we had, right? That's a deposit, right? You just made a little deposit into a new movement, right? Showing up today to work out, to move your body on a day after a holiday when maybe you wanted to snooze your alarm a little longer, or maybe you wanted to skip because you're just not feeling 100%. Showing up today, that's a deposit, right? Focusing on really high quality movements when you get into class, that's a deposit. Getting back onto your nutrition today, eating food that makes you feel good today, that's a deposit, right? So all of these things are what compound on top of each other. And none of those things I just listed, right? Moving well, eating food that makes you feel good, right? None of those things seem like a really big deal in the moment, right? It's one meal, right? It's one workout. But when you stack them up day after day and you stack them up week after week, that's a huge deposit. And the gains you get from that over long periods of time are what the goals are, and are where we want to be, right? So by the time baseline week hits, right? And again, that's Monday, July 14th, next Monday. You're not starting from scratch if you're taking this compound interest approach, right? You're not starting, you're starting from a position of strength. You're starting from this place of just being prepared, starting from a place of preparedness, right? Your body knows the movements, your mind is locked in, and you're ready, right? That's compounding in action, stacking these little habits over this week across time to help you feel ready and prepared for a new cycle that starts for us. Taking advantage of prep week this week to get yourself on track, mentally ready, physically ready to start new and to focus on your goals for the back half of the year, right? And did a podcast last week. There's 6 months left in the year. It's July, right? You still have so much time to set a goal for yourself and absolutely crush that goal, right? We had so many people in our gym who did amazing work this past weekend at the Peachtree Road Race, and goal accomplished, right? They worked hard. They showed up to Lauren's endurance clubs. They showed up in the gym. They took care of their bodies in the best way that they could. And then they had an amazing race on Saturday morning, this past Saturday. And now that same squad of people, Lauren at the head front of that, is leading the charge for triathlon prep. There's a triathlon coming in September. Gulf Shores Triathlon is coming. And all of these things can still be accomplished by you if you're thinking about them, if you want to do them, if you stack these little habits on top of each other, right? If you practice the little things day after day after day, you can do these things too in the back half of the year. Just because it's July doesn't mean that the year's over, right? You don't always start new goals in January, right? You can set a new goal today. Your little goal today can be show up at the gym and then see what happens after that. All it takes is one small decision for you to see the rippling effect, right, of what's to come. And so even if you might be feeling a little sluggish today, maybe we're feeling a little bit guilty about some of the indulgence we had over a holiday weekend. I don't want you to think that you're setting yourself back, or that you ruined your progress, or that you ruined your opportunity for the rest of the year to do something great in the gym, out of the gym, with the rest of your life, right? One weekend doesn't define your whole journey. What defines your journey is what you do after that weekend, right? What do you do today that can change your behavior and set you up for success, not only this week, not only for the week of baseline week, and not only for when we retest these workouts 8-10 weeks from now, but what goals can you set for yourself? What simple habits can you stack this week that can carry you through the 6 months that are left in the year, right? That's where the real wins are. right? So this week during prep week, like I don't want you to get this like huge, like don't think you have to do everything all at once today, right? We're really working on just trying to make the small choices for yourself that'll give you the success that you're looking for, that'll stack the habits, right? And so if we're trying to shift out of that mindset of, well, I had a bad weekend and da 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 da, and I ruined my week because I like indulged over the weekend or whatever, like I want you to stop beating yourself up about it. Start focusing on what you can control. And I want you to ask yourself this one question for the rest of the week. Like, I want you to get a sticky note, get a piece of paper, an index card, whatever it is, and write this one question on it. What is one small win I can get today? All right. So find a piece of paper, jot it down, jot it in your phone, take a screenshot of it, make it the like screen background of your phone, and ask yourself every day this week, what is one small win that I can get? Maybe it's really focusing on some of the new movements that are coming up this week. Like today's workout, we're doing a lot of pull-ups, there's chest bar options, there's bar muscle up options. Maybe today we're really focusing on dialing in that kip swing, learning new scales or new like harder gymnastics pulling that we want to do. Maybe the one win of the day today is like drinking enough water, staying hydrated. God knows I did not drink enough water this weekend. So that's one of my big to-dos today, is to rehydrate and replenish my body after a long weekend. Maybe your win is getting to bed a little early so you can recover better, right? We've been staying up late watching the World Cup. We stayed up late watching fireworks, right? But our bodies need sleep because we need to recover. Maybe your win today is getting to bed at an early bedtime. Maybe your win is showing up today, Wednesday, and Friday. Maybe we need to set a specific goal of how many times we're coming into the gym this week, right? There's a million ways for you to answer this question, but only you know the answer to the way that you can win this day and how can you win the rest of this week, right? I know another thing that I need to put on my win list, the things that I need to do this week, is do some meal prep, right? We're going on vacation on Saturday. I need to really dial in the nutrition for my family this week and cook some food because right now our fridge looks like we just moved out. And so there's a lot of things, right? So there's a million ways to stack little small habits, little small wins today. And so find a way for yourself to find some wins this week. And it may feel insignificant and it may feel small in the moment. But what happens when next week comes and the weeks after that come and you have stacked those things on top of each other? You're going to feel the difference, right? Your body's going to be primed. Your mind's going to be focused. You're going to have that forward momentum that we all feel when we're really dialed in with our habits and doing the things that make our bodies and our lives feel good, right? That's the power of using prep week this week. That's what I want you to use prep week for, right? To really dial things in, to find the small wins within that, and then just stack those little small habits on top of each other, right? So your challenge for the week, like I said, it is to find the small wins. Put it on your Post-it note. Tell someone in your household the same things that you are gonna do for yourself. Do it with someone, right? And keep it simple. You know, we've got 7 days until baseline week begins, and that's 7 days for you to really set yourself up for success, and that starts today. So I want you to pick one small win, one small thing to focus on each day. Today, let's focus on getting into the gym. Let's focus on being hydrated. Let's focus on getting some good restored sleep, right? Let's focus on the small things that help you show up better, not only for yourself, but also for the people around you, right? For your partners, for your kids, for your colleagues. You know, what can you do to be better today, right? And even though it might feel silly and it might feel simple, but that's how it should be, right? It's simple, it's stackable, and it's just showing up for yourself and doing the things that work best for you, right? So if you're listening out there, I want you to drop it into the comments, right? So talk to me about some of the things that you want to focus on today. Like, what is your small win today that you can do to set yourself up for success for the rest of the week, right? Keep it small, keep it simple, keep it stackable, right? We have 7 days between today and when retest week starts, and we're going to compound that interest across those 7 days, right? We're going to make 7 deposits into our healthy fitness whole life bank, if you will, right? So what are those deposits that you can make that will make you feel confident walking into next week and confident into the back half of this year? I want you to build the momentum. It doesn't have to be a massive overhaul, but just make tiny, tiny steps, right? Do the things that make you feel good, that help you show up in the best way that you can. Hi, Lauren. Good morning. And keep it rolling, right? I want you all to feel like you are your best selves and you deserve to give yourself the best things for yourself, right? So I know it's Monday. The holiday can feel rough. The routine got disrupted, but real life is calling and you need to show up, right? And I want you to make some investments in yourself today and take advantage of the opportunity that is here this week, right? You have a week of prep here at the gym. You have baseline week coming up next week. We have triathlons coming in September. We have beach brawl coming up in September. We have Fit Fest coming in October. So these are the times, this is the week for you to make some investments in yourself, to stack the small wins, and to see the amazing ripple effect that comes when you do the small pieces. All right, so don't overcomplicate it today. Keep it simple. If you have questions about how to keep it simple or you have too many things to choose from, hit me up. I'm happy to help. But drop it in the comments. Let me know what you're working on today. What's your small win going to be for this Monday? And then let's keep stacking these days together, team. I'll see you in the gym. Peace.